Hello, good morning. I wanted to come back real quick and do another quick demo of both the blush and the quad because I've had some additional epiphanies. I had specifically an epiphany about the formula of the quad yesterday when I was going to bed, and I also figured it would be really nice to do another demo with one of the blushes to show you how it works with other products and to just so you can see it with a fresh face, because obviously yesterday when I was doing my demo and first impression video, I was working with non-optimal, let's say, base for both my eyes and my face. So I thought I would just come back real quick and then we can do my face makeup and then do a little quick eye with the quad again, or at least a part of the quad. I'm going to zoom you in so you can see everything up close and personal again, especially my bloodshot eye over here. I apologize. The allergies are like super bad at the moment and there's really not much I can do about it. So the first thing I'm going to do is apply a little bit of bronzer. I'm going to take Desert Glow, which is one of the powder bronzers from McGrath Labs. Now, if I don't blend out when I get home later, I will also just quickly turn on the camera to show you how the blush specifically looks like at the end of the day, because I think a lot of you are very curious how this creamy formula is going to wear throughout the day, and especially whether it's going to last on oilier skin. Now, I don't know that I'm the most oily one can be. I think I'm past my extremely oily days, but with that said, my skin doesn't get drier throughout the day. It does get oilier, and right now the temperatures are very summery in the Netherlands, so there's a lot of sweating involved, especially when I bike back and home from work. So I do think it is a good time for us to test how these blushes perform in terms of longevity. Oh my gosh, why do I have a hair on my forehead? I'm going to go into Peach Lotus today because I think it will fit the look really nicely. It is the beautiful soft peach shade, and again I'm just going to use it on my big dense soft synthetic brush, and I'm going to just stipple it on. This is my favorite way to apply and buff out products of this category. Beautiful color, and as you can see, the more I buff it out, the less glossy it looks. So I stick to my original opinion that really depending on how you apply the product, it's going to sort of have a different finish to it. And something that I forgot to mention in the video yesterday, I did add it into my description box, but just in case you didn't read it, I know that these balm sticks are meant to be also used on the lips. Personally, I will never use them that way because I just find it wildly unhygienic to especially mix products that go on your lips and on your face. So that's just not my kind of makeup. I think for someone who enjoys the very versatile products and really wants something that they can take with them that works both on lips and face, it would be fantastic, but it's just a no for me, dog. Sorry. For my highlighter, I'm going to take a little bit of the gorgeous Divine Rose highlighter because I think it will fit perfectly with the tone of Peach Lotus. Once again, I'm not noticing anything weird going on between the formulas of the two products. This one obviously being a powder and the product underneath being a bit more of like a cream. So here you have the face makeup. I continue to be a huge fan of the blush formula. I think these are beautiful, and I honestly do not find them to be too dewy or too balmy. They just give you a healthy glow, and like I said, I think they're very versatile depending on how you're going to approach them in terms of application. Now let's move on to the eye look. I am going to not stick only to the quad today because I honestly just want to use two shades from the quad, and those are the light pink and the taupe shade. So those are the two shades that I'm going to use for today's look, and I am actually going to use another quad for a little bit of extra sparkle. But before we go into any sort of quads, I'm going to take my beloved Statuesque here and apply that through my crease. So I made an order also from her sale, which you will hear me also confess about in one of the videos that you will see for the week of Natasha Denona. I'm sorry, the videos for that have been pretty much filmed and they're ready to go. Some of them are even uploaded on my channel already, but I'm delaying a little bit the start of this series because of the pet videos on the color Balm collection. But anywho, you will hear me confess to the fact that I did in the end order a backup of Bronze Bliss because it was half off, and I went against all of my own rules and I ordered also the Quint in Nude Allure. in the hopes that because I love the texture of the eyeshadows so much, I will look past the fact that the colors really are not my cup of tea. But anyway, when I was making that order, I was sort of going back and forth for a few days whether I want to even place it. I was really fighting with myself, you guys. It was such an inner struggle. And I already had statuesque in my cart for some time because I didn't want to forget about it this time around. And then finally, after all the agony, I'm like, fuck it. You only live once, I'm going to order the fucking quince and that will be it. And I get a message that one of the items in my cart is no longer in stock. And I was like, let's bet that that's statuesque. It was indeed statuesque. So I'm going to have to once again wait a little bit to get a backup of statuesque. Now I'm going to go into the other quad that I'm going to use today, and that is Risque Rose, which yesterday I kept calling Ritualistic Rose. Too many roses, I'm getting super confused. Anyway, I'm going to take a little bit of this beautiful brown shade to apply here in the outer corners of my eyes and a little bit in my usual like winged liner kind of shape. So I've now even signed up for the notifications, and as soon as statuesque comes back in stock, I'm just going to go ahead and order it on its own. It will be the saddest little package ever, and it's never really my choice to order something this tiny and waste money and, you know, environmental resources for that one eyeshadow. But in the end, I think I'm going to do that because I can never catch this eyeshadow to be in stock when I'm placing an order. It is ridiculous. Every time I go and I'm not planning on picking up anything, the shadow is in stock. And then as soon as I actually want to purchase it, it's like, poof, gone. Or maybe that's a sign of the universe that I should not be purchasing another statuesque. I think I choose to ignore the signs from the universe. Anywho, let's go back into that Fleur, Passion Fleur quad. And I'm going to apply a little bit of glitter glue before that, but I just wanted to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the taupe shade all over my lid and this one again in my inner corners because I really loved the effect. Something that only dawned on me later when I was already, you know, going to bed and I was, you know, just thinking about the day and the new product. And more specifically, I was thinking about the quad because as I was swatching the quad yesterday, I had this like vague feeling that this formula feels familiar, but like bad familiar. And something that I wanted to point out here just to avoid any confusion, when I said that these are metallic eyeshadows, I did not mean decadence type metallic eyeshadows. These are not the beautiful, creamy, high shine metallic formula that you get, for example, with the metallics in the Decadence palette. I'm going to take a little shader brush, flat shader brush, and go into the taupe shade. These are the exact same formula metallics as the ones that we got in Celestial Nirvana. So that is the big Mega Mothership palette that was released for holiday 2022. It is exactly the same kind of like densely pressed, one-dimensional, boring formula. That is all these are, and that is why I was haunted by this feeling that there was something about this quad that really bothers me. Let me check. One of you actually asked if this was made in Italy, and I wanted to make sure that it is. This is made in the US. So there you go. A little important detail to be added here is that this specific quad is also made in the US. Which means if I had known this prior, I would have already known that we're probably not going to see interesting shades like Rosefire Nectar, because Voyeuristic Vixen was the first quad to be made in Italy after a slew of quads that were made in the US. That is not to say that they don't make beautiful quads in the US, because in fact the Lux quads, or the Divine whatever quads they were called, that were released for holiday 2021, I think were also made in the US, except for Rose Risque Rose. Jesus, am I going to say the name of this quad right ever on camera? Because of this shade, because of Lavendering. Those like more interesting textures, they come from Italy, and this quad comes from the US. I'm putting the pink shade through my inner corners, FYI now. So there you go, mystery solved. We should probably have seen it coming, that we're not getting any interesting textures here, because they don't come from the lab that makes the interesting textures. So there you have it. Speaking of Lavendering, I'm going to take a few flecks of that now, and I'm going to pop that over top of that taupe shade to give it a little bit more of an interesting effect. because just like the metallics in Celestial Nirvana, this is so blah, so ordinary. So ordinary. You know what? In Dutch they have a great word to describe the textures in this quad. They're so gewoontjes. Gewoon means ordinary, but gewoontjes is just like, it just makes it even worse. They're worse than ordinary. They're so one-dimensional. Anyway, rant done. I'm going to quickly finish off the look by applying a little bit of the deep brown shade here underneath my lower lashes. Alright you guys, this is the final look. Just in case you were wondering, I am wearing Lisa Eldridge Velvet Rain on my lips. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it cleared a few things up. I think the main message here is this quad is made in the US, so we should not have even expected any sort of special textures, but also the metallics, not like her, you know, regular creamy decadence type metallics. These are more like Celestial Nirvanas. If you have Celestial Nirvana, you know how these are going to feel. I have to say, if I look at the whole collection overall, I would definitely recommend that you pick up some of the cream blushes if you're someone who enjoys wearing cream blushes. If you were afraid that these are going to be too sticky and too balmy, I don't think you should be too worried about that. I don't think they're that kind of formula. I will come and report back on how these were throughout the day. But I'm back for my late afternoon check-in here to show you how the blush looks like several hours later. When I applied the makeup, it was around 8:30 in the morning, and now it is 6:30 in the late afternoon, evening-ish time. I think you can see that there hasn't really been much fading going on. I can still see pretty much most of the blush, if not all of the blush that I applied in the morning. I don't think that it feels extra tacky or extra glossy or extra dewy or, dare I say, greasy. I don't think it looks greasy at all. Like, my cheeks don't look greasier than they would on any other day with a powder blush. So I think it's safe to say these blushes really have stood the test in terms of their quality, in terms of their packaging. Like I said also yesterday, you can take it as you may. They're pretty cheap feeling, but the quality of the product inside is undeniable. Anywho, I'm kind of in a rush now, so I'm going to close this video off. I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know what you thought about the look, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!